Okay. Hello, everyone. Happy Easter and welcome to our live streaming workshop on multi-bucket storage miner setup with CESS 0.7.6. Sorry for the delay. We had some technical issues here. Uh, welcome, everyone. And I'm Alex, your host, and we are honored to have Frank leading us through a comprehensive guide today. So throughout this workshop, we'll learn to set up a multi-bucket storage miner and explore the vast potential it offers, from optimizing storage efficiency to maximizing mining rewards. So sit back, relax, and get ready to explore the future of our decentralized storage. Once again, welcome to our workshop, and let's dive in. Frank, stage is all yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you. First, welcome everybody. The team here at CESS, really thanks you for participating and coming in. Miners are the core of our existence, really. So I wanted to kind of talk to you just a little bit about Cumulus Encrypted Storage System, CESS. So hopefully you can see my screen just fine. On the right here, I've got some web pages. On the left we're going to be working. But so the welcome screen here, big congratulations to the miners. Last time we ran a standard storage node, and since that time, we've more than doubled the active nodes. So people are listening, people are getting involved, and we really appreciate that. So we're up to 7,672 so far. So, hang on one second. So in the CESS community, we've got multiple, things are working so well this morning, aren't they? So we've got multiple things going on here. With CESS itself, this is the docs page, docs.cess.cloud. This gives you a real breakdown of what's going on, what things are happening as far as the system itself. The group in the community really breaks down. The community members are really the users of the storage, the developers, the storage miners, and consensus miners. Those are all the user roles in the community, and they all are extremely important for CESS. So in this, we have the documents over here for how we do the storage miners. We've got a standard storage node, multi-bucket. Then we come down here to the consensus miner. So last time we did the storage node. This time we're going to work on the multi-bucket. So let's get going on that here. Hang on one second. Let me get my screen redone here. All right. So the architecture for the multi-bucket. Well, first let's talk about why multi-bucket. If you're like me, I have hardware that has multiple disks. One of the questions we get a lot in Discord is, how do I run multiple miners on a single system? And this is the answer to that. You can run multiple buckets or miners on a single piece of hardware. So the requirements for that are not huge. The requirements are you need to have a minimum of 4 CPU cores. Now that's split across the buckets themselves, as well as the logic core for the chain. So you need at least 4. If you're going to run more than a couple buckets, you need to have a couple more logic cores for that. Memory at least 8 gig. Bandwidth, they say more than 5 megabit. Public network IP, a static IP address, usually assigned to you by your ISP, and your Linux kernel version should be 5.11. I'm running Ubuntu, one of the latest versions, so we're in good shape there. But the way it works, the thing that happens here is we're going to build it with Watchtower. That's an updating system that will update automatically, pull new official images, create new storage nodes, and then delete old storage nodes. The bucket itself Those are communicating on the range of 15,001, 2, and then if you have a third bucket, it'd be 3, and a fourth bucket would be 4. Chain itself is running on through the node of 9944, and you'll see that in the config file when we're putting that together. And then the chain itself is communicating down on the 3,000 or 30,336. So there's two ways that you can really run the multi-bucket. If you're on a virtual system, you would need to partition out a single disk across for multiple use, so you would have multiple buckets. In multi-disk, it's a little bit easier for me anyway. I'm really a hardware guy rather than a virtual system. But what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up mounting multiple drives, and then we will be able to go from there. On the left-hand side, I ran a df-8. That gives me the things that are currently mounted, where they're at. If I do fdisk, it would give me what's available. So what I have available on this particular machine, I've got an unused area here in SDB and an unused area in SDC. So we're going to be mounting those and using those in our system. So the fdisk to set those up, mine, if I run that command, will show that they've already been done. So I do have those available. I just need to mount them currently. So we're gonna, the disk path, I should get an error on that due to the fact that I already have the things ready to go. Yeah, it's going to show me that the file exists. I've already created those disk paths on the system for both 1 and for 2. I will say, you know, if you're nervous about doing this, I am not a Linux guru. I work a lot in different OSs. So when I get back to Linux, I've used it in the past. I'm reteaching myself what's going on. In these documents, they have every single step and every single command that you need. If you work from the top to the bottom on this, you're going to do just fine. So let's go ahead and mount our systems here, or our disks. Oh, that's why. I got to tell it what to mount. So see, even I make mistakes. That worked better. So now we'll mount our second drive. And then we will take a look at what we've got. So up above, we had done the df-h. We'll run it again. Now, it helps if I can type right. We show storage. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to change out my drive loader.
Oh, yes, I was going to tell you that. Okay.
And that's why I check them. There we go. So now we currently have 2 of them ready to go. So want to make sure that that gets saved into the fstab. And then we're going to modify. Yeah, I think the most used key on my computer is the backspace sometimes. And that should take care of B. So now we need to go back and we need to do storage 2. See, this time I caught it. Okay, so both of those should be ready to go. So the breakdown for, it also has the breakdown for the single disk, and it'll show you how to run that, how to break that down. And then it's volume group. So the VGS, we're on a multi-disk, so we're going to move on down. So now we get to the fun part. We're going to start building. So we need to make sure that all our hardware is set up, or our virtual system is set up and ready to go for the build itself. And then once that is complete, which is where we're at now, we can go ahead and start installing. All right. So our first one is our wget. Boom. Does work pretty quickly. I know there's a bunch of you sitting there going, hey, wait a minute, you can run those all at the same time and make it easier. But I'm extra cautious. So, all right, we're getting installed. All right, so we have magically installed what we need to install. Now we need to do some configuration. So the configuration that we're going to be doing is to customize our config file so that the system knows what's going on. And I'm a big Nano fan, so we'll go in there. So this is our configuration file, breaks down everything that we need to be able to run. The things we're going to have to watch for is really the disk path. So we need to make sure that the disk path in this configuration file is what we just set up. We need to look at, we need to make sure we have an earnings account that we'll tie in here. And the earnings account can be the same on multi-bucket. It can be the same on all your different miners. Have a certain single earnings account. Make sure that your earnings are all going the same place. The thing you can't use is a staking account. You can only use on one miner. So in this case, we're going to have two of them, and then the signature account. So we need to go ahead and get in here. First thing we're going to do is take care of that earnings account. All right, so we're going to copy that, come back over here. Me and my fat fingers. Earnings account is in there correctly. Now, go down to the staking account. Get that changed out. what I did when I was prepping for this was I went ahead and made sure I had a staking account for each one of the miners. Now, I did run into one little issue I noticed when, if I did not fill out the mnemonic, I would get an error showing that the mnemonic wasn't filled out. So I'm running a signature. So this is for the signature account. I went ahead and created a third wallet that is going to be serving as that for me. So that should be the same as the staking, or that can be the same as the staking account. Could be the mnemonic for it, but I didn't want to put that on screen. So I'm going to run this one, which is a copy of another one. Okay, so all right. So I said one of the things we needed to watch was disk path. In this case, our disk path is just CESS_storage. So we can take the mount thing out. Now that's bucket 1. Now we need to do the same for bucket 2. And if you noticed, this port was 15,002. On the previous one, it was 15,001. So make sure those are separated. It comes configured that way, so as long as you don't change it, you'll be fine. All right, let's go with the earnings account. I guess for efficiency, I could have copied it twice, but all right. So again, the same account we used up above in the earnings account, same one down here. And now we'll get down to staking. And we're using our second one. I got to quit doing that. All right. Okay, we'll live with that. Make sure I get rid of the extra set. All right. And you come down here and we'll get the mnemonic for the signature account. All right. And then again, we need to change out for the disk path for storage 2 and take care of that. So that should be all we have to modify in here. So we'll go ahead and save that. And that's correct. Okay, so we come back over here. This breaks down the different changes. We are good to go on that. So now we really need to generate the configuration. So we need to so this is going to do all the magic work behind the scenes for you, so it makes your life really easy. Get down there to your config path. It's just, unless you've made some kind of modification, it's just an enter. All right, so we have generated that. We're good to go. So now we're going to do the multi-bucket install for the admin. Here's the magic working. creating our buckets, and congratulations, we're now running. I was told that it takes a while for the configuration, and for once it runs, it's got to sync up. It's got multi-bucket sync. It's going to take a little while for that to take place. But we are currently running. The next, if you run multiple miners, there's a possibility that you're running your own RPC. If that is the case, you would skip the just direct install and you do skip chain. That just means that you're not going to have the watchtower running in there. Everything else will be the same, but that's an option for anybody that's using their own RPC. The other option is to, and that's on a local RPC. The other option is to run on the public RPC 0, RPC 1, and RPC 2. That's the normal setup when you get a miner running. Usually in the config file, it'll have those RPCs sitting there. Let's take a look. Okay. So because I'm using the same wallets I used in the past, we're showing that we're already validating space. The sync originally took a little over an hour for me on the multi-bucket when I built under this first one. So I'm picking up the statistics. It's running, which is the positive state. If it's frozen, it's usually tied to something about not having enough staking tokens. So, if that's the case, let us know over in Discord. Under miner support is the channel I'm usually in. If you're needing CESS or you need help or whatever, please come over there. I'm there a lot of hours of the day. I am on US time, East Coast time, so usually there about 8 to 10 hours a day. I'll try and respond as quickly as I can if you're having a problem. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Let's see if we can get some logs to see what's going on. So we do have some errors that are showing, which are a connection issue. Hang on 1 second here. All right. All right, so question I've got. All right, they are figuring it out. The transport errors, you will hit a transport error from time to time. Usually it clears after a time or two. So in this case, we've got we're listening on port 6000 and 6001 is the other bucket. So it's switching back and forth, which is fine. Synchronized with the main chain was complete, connected successfully. From time to time, you may see errors, which are connection error of some type. Can be you can have communication errors. It's not going to affect your miner. It will reconnect. It's not a big deal, not an end of your thing. Now, if you have pages and pages of all red X's, you've got a configuration issue, usually tied to maybe how your port settings are. So in this case, it looks like everything is corrected. So, all right. Was there any questions on the configuration or the setup?
Oh, yes, actually, we had some questions from the viewers, but we have already answered in YouTube chat.
Okay.
If anybody else is having any questions, please post it there. We'll be happy to answer you guys.
Yeah, the other thing I will tell you is most mistakes will happen inside the config file. as you saw, I fat fingered a couple of things, went back and corrected them because I saw them. But I have started a miner with a problem like that. If I mess up an account, it's going to tell me that I'm not a miner, and I will realize that I have a problem, and I usually revert right back to the configuration and take a look, and that's where I usually find the problem. Now, if you start a miner and you do a bucket stat, and it tells you that it's not a miner. It just gives that error. It doesn't fill out the rest of the information. Most times that's because you're syncing. You're not in the mining thing yet. So don't panic. Give it a little bit of time. Go back and check it, and you'll see later that it's finally synced up and is running. So don't panic. But if you have a question, if you get me a screenshot of what the error is that you're having, like I said, in Discord, we try to be there as much as possible and answer any questions. If I miss your question, I usually read back up the line to try and answer any of the questions I can find. Then that's we'll get to you and we'll get you an answer. But don't be afraid. Get in there, configure, learn. We're all preparing for mainnet. So once that launches, we're going to be really busy. And right now, as I said, we're about 7,600 miners. Let's see if we can't double that and get up to about 14,000. This is worldwide. So we appreciate you helping us and being involved, and let me know what I can do to make it easier for you. And I thank you for your time today.
Yes, thank you so much, Frank. And before we wrap up everything, I would like to ask one questions. Maybe some of the viewers might have these questions. Since we are not having any questions being popped out in YouTube chat, so I'll just throw this question. So my question is that since we're having multi-bucket configuration in this thing, so some users might think that they can use the same mnemonics for all the different buckets.
Oh
So
no.
right.
Yeah, the mnemonic ties. Well, the mnemonic is shown as the signature account. The mnemonic can actually, the signature account can be reused. You cannot reuse the staking. The staking account, which you're putting in as the actual account itself, that cannot be reused. If you run staking across multiple machines, it will not function. So, and that's one problem I see even on the standard storage nodes, is they try to use the same account across everything. And you have to have a separate earnings and separate staking. Now, as I said before, the staking account can be, or excuse me, the earnings account. See, even I messed up. The earnings account can really be used across multiple miners. I run 4 separate miners. I use the same earnings account. Everything goes into that. And the amazing part is if you look at the website for miners, and you look at the stats at miners, if you look at these top guys, this one right here is a single earnings account, and these are all the miners that connect to it. There's 200. So
Okay, I suppose if we are using staking account, then we have to use different staking account for address for all the miners. But
yes,
if over here it's written in configuration file that staking account is optional. So in that case, we'll have to use different mnemonics for all the storage nodes, right?
yes,
Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Frank, for the answer.
I appreciate it.
Any other questions anybody would like to ask? Okay. I will just give a few seconds if anybody is typing any questions.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I would like to say that we'll be having our next workshop scheduled soon, which will be on consensus miner setup. So if you guys are interested, you guys can follow up in our social media like Twitter, Discord, Telegram, or Medium. We'll have our schedule posted on those social media so that you can join us in our next live workshop. Okay, I'm changing the settings in in this file, but I can't tell if it's working or not. How can we check which RPC it's connecting to at opt/sys /node adm/config.yml? Okay. You can, Hazen. This question is asked by Hazen. We can actually check our Docker logs so that the log can print if our RPC is connecting to the nodes or not. So for that, the command is, I think, Frank, you can showcase the Docker logs command.
Hold on one second. I don't know if I have that one. Hold on. I'm looking through my notes real quick to see if I've got that one.
Okay, it'll be like just Docker logs and the name of the container. So it can be either bucket one, bucket two, or the chain if you want to see the chains log.
So in my case, I'm running the internal. So in our settings, we set that up for the internal watcher. So in this case, it's connecting through my RPC. So I'm trying to see
That
if
is
there's
running locally in localhost. The node configuration under chain WebSocket URL and the backup chain WS URL is being overwritten by the buckets chain WS URL and the bucket chain URLs array list. So that's how we are able to connect to the local host instead of CESS hosted RPC nodes. So I hope we have answered your question, Hazen. You can just use Docker logs to check out your containers logs, and you'll get the errors or successful connection written in the logs. You can figure out from there.
And Hazen, I'll see you on Discord because I know you'll have a question.
Yeah, we can find it.
Hazen's a regular for our Discord channel.
Oh, that's great to know. Okay.
Another thing you can do is in the commands as you're setting stuff up. One of the things you can do is the chains URL. So inside inside the configuration is the chains WS URL. That could be the RPC, whichever one you wanted to specifically point to. So that can be configured if you're not running your own internal.
Yes, and I would like to add one more thing on that, that if we specify chains WebSocket URL or bucket chain WebSocket URL in our buckets configuration, then the nodes configurations chain WebSocket URL and the bucket chain WebSocket URL gets overridden by those configuration. So it will only use the ones which we specify in the bucket section, which is below the node section. Okay. So I think that's all. There's no other questions in our YouTube channel. So
All right.
thank you so much, Frank, for your time, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Have a great day. See you in the next workshop.